Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Wednesday, the 9th of October. All right, as we cruise into the start of the Asian session, the main thing to sort of think about is we've had no major sort of news at this stage. We did have Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, speaking yesterday. Now, he was sort of basically saying that they will cut rates if they need to, but he thinks the US economy is sustainable. So the dollar has appreciated somewhat. 30 points, but that's about it. Market conditions, well, you know what? The majors are very calm at the market at the moment, I should say. So it's we've got good trading conditions. We just don't have direction. And that's because the core market drivers, these three factors in particular, are sort of bubbling at the moment. Brexit, there is driving sterling lower, potential of a no deal, which I'm surprised at because there was no deal after May resigned as PM anyway, so that's no news to me. But anyway, sterling's coming off with that little bit of strong dollar push there as well. This China-US situation, as I said, the impeachment proceedings up the top here, like the White House has come out and said they're not going to cooperate with any impeachment inquiry. So this is going to escalate. As that escalates, I would suspect Trump, as I mentioned yesterday, will be all over this China-US situation. And what I mean is he's going to make it as bad as possible. So don't plan on any deals coming out there. And that's where I think you should be planning on your next potential trades. Dollar one going up, Aussie Kiwi going down, and CAD might get caught up in that as well and get dragged down as well. So the overall analysis, no major changes there at all. As I said, we did have Jerome Powell speaking, and that's where we are on that front. Just to give you a quick look at the overall sort of the news pages that I'm looking at. Now you've got, this is once again where, if I just get the right page up, you are looking at the potential impacts. Now, dollar slips versus yen as trade tensions weigh. Now that's off about 10 or 15 points. As I said before, the news services, it's no sort of fault of their own, but there's no news. So what they are doing is really embellishing what is happening. So don't get caught up and think the dollar's moving around all over the place, because it's not. Now, the US, I mean, they're trying all sorts of things. Basically, Trump is losing his mind. This impeachment story, as I said, is gaining weight. So what he's doing is he's changing the picture here on China with regards visas and delisting companies, all sorts of stuff. It's absolutely crazy. Now, to me, the main real news of what we're looking for is something from the central banks. Now, Fed Powell says US expansion is sustainable. At the same time, he did say they would do what is needed. Now, that is no change of script from the last 30 years. And that's the same as every central bank. So don't think that's a change and a sell-off if them saying they'll do whatever they need to. Because every central bank says that every day, every meeting for the last 30, 40 years, right? So all he's doing is just reminding everyone, if things weaken, we'll cut rates. If they don't, we won't. At the same time, he believes the US economy is sustainable, which I think it will as well. I think if they got rid of Trump, we've got someone sensible in there and they worked out a deal with China, you'll find all these global economies will bounce very aggressively. And I think that's a pretty good outcome. All right. So when we just look at the charts here, as I said, there's no major change here. When I'm looking at the picture here, I mentioned this the other day, Aussie and Kiwi sort of looking to be pretty good sells back towards resistance. The Kiwi looked like it was giving up the ghost, but you know what? It's come back and tested that trend line again. You've got to be feeling pretty confident with that. So the general momentum, I mean, these Aussie and Kiwi in particular, the two pairs that have been going down, are losing. They've lost all momentum, downside momentum at this stage. There's a couple of resistance lines around, but that's it. Here's dollar yen. As I said, a move from like 10 to 90 or 80. That's not a move. That's just sideways trading. So don't get caught up in that. That move in the dollar has sort of pushed. You can just see how euro has just dipped down below that short-term support line. No real continued medium or long-term sentiment at this point. It's just a little flush out of some of the short-term positions there. Overall, it's still trading sideways. Here's sterling. Now, as we get closer to October 31st, sterling news is going to start going through the roof. So it's going to become extremely volatile. So this is a bit of weakness on the sterling front, as well as some little bit of dollar strength coming from Powell. And dollar CAD, well, oil's pretty steady at the moment. It's now found a bit of a home up here between sort of 132.90 and 133.30. It's just trading sideways. So you want to keep an eye on that as we move closer towards the data this week, or the important data. And this is where we start to come back into. This is where we start to get tangible fundamental drivers. Don't forget, these geopolitical events are our nemesis, right? They screw up the natural flow of the market. Now, what we do have, the FOMC meeting minutes, obviously going to be very important. Keep an eye on the crude oil inventories, but I can't see any big changes there to that. So the FMC minutes, and then what we're going to be looking at is getting closer towards the real trading day of the week, and that's Thursday, right? So this is where all the action is. US CPI, ECB monetary policy minutes, meeting accounts, I should say. You've got a bit of UK stuff, but I'm not really focusing on sterling at the moment. Brexit is taken over. So FOMC minutes today, US CPI tomorrow. This is the go-to. US CPI numbers, hugely important. And that's pretty much it, guys. So it's pretty much, we're sitting there waiting patiently, waiting for something to happen. You can't push the markets around, so don't think you're going to be sort of jumping in and doing a whole heap of good there. Here's $1. You can see this thing starting to cruise to the top side. I would expect the Bank of, or People's Bank of China, okay, the Chinese government to intervene in this thing at some stage. But you know what? This thing going up helps them out, right? Because it makes their goods cheaper. So Trump inadvertently is making China more competitive globally. He's such an idiot. All right. Anyway, that's enough of me sort of doing a Trump fest. Just follow the data. At the moment, the analysis doesn't really tell us a hell of a lot what's going on. So it's a bit of a wait and see, but you will still see some short-term trading opportunities if you pay close attention to these numbers. All right, guys, have a good trade day. Cheerio.